Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Daredevil Born Again review series, episode 7. I'm the man without a name, Travis Now, and I'm joined by
I am the face toucher, Kirkland Patzer.
Face Toucher. Yeah, some Face Toucher we're going to talk about. We should hopefully be joined by Mr. Muss, having some internet issues. He was just here a second ago, so we'll see. Taylor, out on assignment. He's been very cagey about where he is, but he's out there in the ether. We'll have to see what he says when he gets back. But yeah, we're here, episode 7, 1 week away from the penultimate episode of Daredevil. And yeah, Kirkland, I'm going to throw to you first because we didn't get your thoughts next week or for last week, and then might get Dylan sometime. Yeah, are you actually not here next week?
No, I'm here.
Okay, well, he says that, and then one Cherryville trip, and it's over. But
hopefully no more Cherryville.
Yeah, what did you think about last week? Obviously, last week we got the bank episode, and then we got some. We got the devil back, and then you can transition that into your thoughts for this week. Oh yeah, thank you, Dalton. We're on the side quest background. We what happened? Now I'm alone.
It's his show now.
I didn't even mean to
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. I can hear you. You're in the show.
Personal.
That's weird, but thank you, Dalton. Yeah, I'll switch that. But yeah, what do you think about these last 3 episodes?
Yeah, I watched them pretty close together. I watched the other 2 just yesterday, and I was, I want to say like a little bit let down, like particularly by like the first episode out of the 2. I guess I'll talk spoilers because people have seen that up until now. Yeah. Just like the whole like Kamala like just tie-in or attachment or whatever they're just setting up. It just seemed like really shoehorned in and really forced and like really like, oh, my daughter Kamala, like we call her Miss Marvel, like this character. This is a bobblehead of her. Look, like this is a Funko of Kamala. Like it just seemed like so like just rammed it down our throats to like really double down on like, hey, in case nobody's seen Miss Marvel, like this
go check out our lowest rated MCU show right now.
Yeah, so I like the chemistry of Matt and him like together. Like I thought overall the episode was decent. Like the whole heist, it just seemed a little bit out of place for me. And then just the whole like Kamala lead up thing was just really forced for me. And it seems like there's been moments in the show where maybe they've referenced like other things of the MCU, and it just doesn't feel like that at all, like that force. So that one just really stood out to me. But the episode after that, I really did enjoy. Just the whole setup of Matt gearing up at going into like the bundle of episodes. I assumed it would have happened a lot sooner, but they really took their time. It was like the back half of that second episode when he suits up, but I wasn't disappointed. I thought it was awesome. I was pretty hyped on it, and the whole fight sequence with Muse, really just dark and creepy character. And the one thing I will say on I can't remember her name, but it's the White Tiger's
the niece.
Yeah, couldn't remember the relation there, but I just find like all of her dialogue sequences, I don't know if it's just like her or the writing that they have for her, it just seems like so corny and cheesy and just so like generic, the dialogue specifically with that character.
It's funny you say that. I have that exact same thing with the female cop they have right now in the bank episode.
Yeah,
the one
that's fair.
That whole scene talking to Fisk, I was like, get me out of here right now.
I really didn't like.
No, like
even like the bank robbery sequence, like when she's talking to the bank robber. Yeah, I had the same feeling.
Get rid of all that. I'm gonna give because we've done this so many times where we see an actor actress that aren't great, and then we see someone else fantastic. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say it's just the writing of this, but yeah it's not. It's not great, and yes, don't worry, we will talk about all that stuff in the comments, people. But
yeah. So that was like my only like 2 holdups. But overall, it's still good, still up there. It's not perfect by any means, but yeah. And then
where were you? Because I don't think you listened to the reviews last week, but I said because I wanted to talk to you, and then you didn't make those episodes, of course. So that's how fate would have it. But I remember you saying like, you're going back and forth of the final grade of the show is going to be a fail, and the week before I was like, I don't get that. But then I'd seen those 2 episodes last week. I was like, what, I could understand that. Where are you on the scale now? Where is it tipping? Is it a bit bad? Is it more on the pass? You still
definitely more on the pass side.
Yeah.
I think like the actual crafting of the show, I'm able to like really appreciate. I think it was in episode 6. There's just a lot of moments where it would go from like Fisk's like having a conversation with someone, and then it would like blink to Matt and like a situation that he's handling, and like sometimes it would like still be Fisk and whoever he's talking to, but then like it would be showing Matt, like just the splicing of sequences and bouncing from Fisk to Matt. They've done it multiple times throughout the season
That
so
end
far.
fight last week too.
Yeah.
Adam getting fucked up. You know?
Yeah. Gives him an axe and
Yeah.
tells him to come at him. So just, yeah, like the actual craftsmanship of the show I can really appreciate. And it is looking good. Like I think the fight scenes have been looking better. You know, minor spoilers. The one in this episode, there was a couple moments when I had to like rewind. It just seemed like so brutal, almost like a Mortal Kombat sequence. I'll detail what that is when we get it. But yeah, no, I think it'll be a pass for me. It's yeah, I think we're past the point of it being potentially like a fail overall, because we're well over the halfway point now, right? It's
we got 2 episodes left,
still?
and what's interesting is the next 2 episodes are complete overhaul episodes. So I feel like that for me is
like they rewrote it or something.
so like there's lots of these like the first episode I think was completely new one, and then lots of the episodes from 2 to now were a mix of some of the old show and then some of the new stuff that they reshot and everything like that. Apparently 8 and 9 are completely like top to bottom reshot, started over and everything like that. So that's where I'm interested for next week, because so overall you like this episode, right? I don't want to cut off your Okay, yeah.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, it's a thumbs up for me. I think it's I don't think it's episode 4 Punisher levels, but it's probably the second best episode for me. Last week I thought there had some great moments. I just had some issues with how quickly we got to things. Even Matt, he's like, oh, the cops were looking for him. I found him one night. I had issues with that because it's like, how do we get there? It just felt very easy to find Muse and his lair and everything, right? So this week it's kind of like, okay, you've accepted that. There's lots of stakes going on. So I think this is probably my second favorite episode, but I still don't think it's like anywhere near how good episode 4 was. But I can't remember where the fudge I was going with this all. Oh, so we have this. The next 2 episodes to me are going to be really an indicator for my excitement for season 2. I'm still excited for season 2 because it's just, I've been disappointed in aspects of the show, but not that disappointed. There's still great stuff. I love seeing Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox do their things. I think they're still great. And I've seen some set photos of season 2. I'm juicing because there's some things I've been asking for years that we're getting. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I'm really hoping 8 and 9 are at least as quality, but I'm hoping for better, because if those 2 episodes really got the juice, that means, okay, season 2, and it's kind of, we've started over from this point of view, same directors, writers going forward. It's like, hopefully that's a good sign. And I'm excited to see where we go. I think this episode provided some exciting things that I thought would happen later on. I think there's some stuff with Fisk and Vanessa, which is like, again, it's like, I see some people being like, oh, it's a clear sign of this, but I really don't know, because I feel like they left it in a very ambiguous way. So I've liked all that stuff. I think it was a good episode. Very excited for the next 2, because either next week or the week after, we're also getting Frank back, I imagine, here soon too. So I just know we're that much closer. So yeah, overall, like the episode. And overall, if you like GeekVerse podcast, you head down the links below for everything you need to know. You can subscribe to all our feeds, whether it's the video feeds or audio feeds, and we'd very much appreciate you going over to Patreon, because you can get this episode, which we're about to throw to an ad break, and every single episode ad free. You get exclusive content on there. Right now, we're doing Fantastic Four, Mission Impossible, and and Superman. Funny enough, we'll talk about that later in a newscast. Some Superman stuff. All those retrospectives, review all the past movies, all exclusive on there. So go check those out. We'd appreciate. That's the best way to support us. You get a lot of good benefits. You can join After 9, which will happen later on this month. There's a bunch of other things, and a shout out to our Patreon producers: April of Darkness, Jack Grant, Aaron Braden, there we go, Sam, Superbad Mike, God Loves Me 69, Jeremy Renner, and Charlie Randell. We thank you very much for being at that highest tier. Soon you'll be getting some more Mission Impossible retros, and I'm sure there'll be some polls soon enough. But you'll want to be there for the GV Day, because we're doing our 10-year anniversary is coming up, and literally from July to like the second week of August, we're doing like a 6-week celebration. We got tons of stuff planned, so it should be very exciting. So yeah. That one scares me. It just comes out of nowhere. But we'll get into spoilers. Hopefully Dilmus comes in and we'll get his overall thoughts. But then we'll throw to an ad break and we'll be right back. And we are back. So I wanted to start there. Lord Bison says Fisk knows Vanessa set him up. These women in a face palm. Now, I took that as like
He's with me.
you could go either way with that though, because I feel like there's three things. Because I was very much heavily on the bandwagon of Fisk was going to kill Vanessa. These past few episodes have definitely been bonding a bit more, and there's been some kinship, and also the fact that Fisk has kind of been like he's gonna go back to the dark side, or he never left. Felt like, oh, him and Vanessa might rekindle some stuff. So I was starting to switch over. Even last week they were talking about working together and how politicians are fake. Like it felt like more the Daredevil like Netflix show near the end where it's like they're thick as thieves. So I think now we're gonna go two ways, to be honest. I know I'm kind of backtracking what I thought, but either she set him up and he got out of it, and that's gonna like somewhat impress her, and even her doing that to him is gonna impress her like him, or they just set up the mobster guy. Like Fisk knew the complete time, especially the way when he said like, "Oh, make sure ask Vanessa what she wants me to bring from the restaurant." To me, that was a tip off that they're almost in on this hit thing together. Because why would you say that if she just like tried to take your life? I feel like just saying, "Oh, I'll ask her for some leftovers." It's like that's kind of a weird way to respond. So I'm not completely on the bandwagon that she was trying to get rid of Fisk 100% there. Again, that's why I appreciate the show. They left it ambiguous, didn't answer that. You can go either way. I think they're really toeing the line because I think the next two episodes we're gonna find out. Okay, is she with him? Is she not? And I'm on the bandwagon. I think they're gonna work it out one way or another. So I could be wrong. I'll look back and say, oh, I should have went with my gut a couple weeks ago when I said Fisk was gonna kill her, but I think it's left up in the air right now, and I could go either way on it. So
Yeah, I think we're gonna find out like the first time that they meet. Like that first time they meet, they'll be a good indicator onto what the motivation is there. I think I'm more on the side that she does kind of want him gone, but it also just seems like the easiest. Like that's like the easiest setup. So like maybe they're just tricking me with that. But I don't know. I just feel like the moments. There's been a couple moments throughout the show already where Vanessa was like, "Oh yeah, I was running the business better before he came back," and like I feel like that's still gonna be just brewing under her skin forever, really.
Well, Bruin is Dill Musk. He's been brewing on his thoughts, fighting with that Wi-Fi. We only just talked like a sliver of spoilers with some Fisk and Vanessa stuff. So, what do you think overall? And then you could start there. Kirkland, he's so happy. Oh, okay.
You just had an evil smirk. That was what that got me. It just paused on that face.
It's two
I don't
times.
think it's gonna hold. I feel it's gonna break again.
It's funny before air when you're just explaining the bad
I
Wi-Fi
heard you
tonight.
for another like 10 seconds afterward.
Yeah, he did, and he's got a smile right now. So hopefully, I'm gonna goodwill Dylan Musk. So what did you think about the episode?
Hi, can you hear me? Am I
You
working?
can, but you froze again. So you're here. You're here.
Okay. This is probably not going to work, but I'll try for a bit. And if it glitches out again, I'm
Quick
fucking
thoughts,
out
quick
of here.
thoughts.
Okay, fair enough. We'll get your quick
Yeah.
thoughts. Yeah.
This is another underwhelming episode for me. So now we're on like a bit of a bad streak, which is concerning for me. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I just didn't find there to be a whole lot of tension here. I think the I guess, are we in spoilers now? I guess we get past that.
You're fine.
Yeah, like the therapy section and that whole dynamic and conversation just like didn't really work for me. I didn't love like the backstory we got for this character, and now he's gone. So it's like, okay, I guess that was that. Like I feel like 3 weeks from now I will have forgotten about Muse and we'll never think about him again until maybe he comes up in like MCU Golden Geeks as like a meme or something like that. But I feel like I'll never think of this character again, which is kind of a disappointing arc for what could have been something else. And then I don't know what, like, I guess we got 2 more episodes here. Now Fisk knows about Matt and Daredevil and all that. So that'll be kind of the big tension for the next 2 episodes here. But I feel like it's going to be one of those classic Disney Plus rushed finales, even though we didn't have a 6-episode thing here. We did get a full 9, but it still feels like it's going to be rushed whatever happens. And I know we kind of have this 2-season arc sort of situation going on. But yeah, this is another disappointing week for me. But I not to say your whole thoughts again, but are you guys with me on this, or do you guys like this episode?
No, this is probably my second favorite, but I can also say that's like because I've had a lot. I think there's been more episodes that you guys liked more than me, right? And I don't think I still was saying to Kirkland where episode 4 I think is high up for me, where this isn't meet those type of layers. Like I enjoyed it the most, but I've kind of had a I don't know, melting pot of thoughts for the other one. So it's not like a high second, but I don't think it was as messy as last week. I enjoyed some of the Muse stuff, even though I think it kind of went to a finale I didn't want. And I still like the cat and mouse game with Fisk and Vanessa. I'm enjoying where we're at there, and I think there's some good acting going on. So.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed it for the most part overall. However, I will say I am pretty underwhelmed with Muse overall. I just felt like we were really getting into the thick of it. Like, okay, this is going to be our big threat here, and just dismantled that quickly. And not just like the Poindexter route where he goes in jail and we're going to touch back with him a little bit later. He also was really reminding me of Poindexter actually, like when he was just going through his Daredevil stuff in season 3, like just the therapy sessions. He's just some really odd duck type of character. So.
Well, Patreon producer Mike in the Discord said his least favorite episode, not a fan of how they did Muse. And that's the thing. I could also say there's some of that comic book bias that I have here, but even then, like, I don't think it was done awful, but it's kind of funny how last week I said, oh, I'm really glad they didn't kill him off. And then this week they just killed him off. Like, well, because I thought, we have 3 more episodes. They're probably going to, especially when he got to, because for the whole season I've been saying, oh, he's going to kidnap her and that's going to be more layers there. But they just they went fast forward on that where he didn't get to do, he kidnapped her, but then it led to like the death. Like it felt like we got the last 3 episodes truncated here. So I will say I am disappointed somewhat, even though I like the actor's performance. I think they did a good job making him creepy. And when he was slicing her arm, like, oh my God, this is, even in the hospital, like they said she had some minor lacerations. I'm like, those don't look minor to me. Like he was deep. So I think big potential.
It's funny that the cops were like, whoever was here stabilized her. I'm like, what did he do exactly? Like, I was kind of confused about like
he wrapped,
what he did.
If you saw her arm, he wrapped something around the cut. That's all he did.
Okay,
yeah.
But no, it's honestly the exact concern I had last week, where I was like, okay, I feel like when we were down in his den, Daredevil kind of dismantled him like pretty easily. Yeah, there was a bit of a back and forth, but like he took him out. It was a very one-sided fight, in my opinion. So I'm like, what else are we going to build up to? And yeah, like the answer was like nothing. Like another fight where he, once again, he took a couple hits, but it was a 2-on-1, I guess. So you can maybe say that was a bit of disadvantage here. But yeah, I just felt like, why did we even really let him get away? Especially if Heather's the character, like the girlfriend's name, right? Like considering that she's lived through this encounter. Like, what really was the point? And I guess it's probably going to lead to her discovering who he was. But I thought he was going to tell her in the hospital room or something. I think he was do that reveal. But the fact that we haven't done that and she doesn't seem super sus of it, because it seems like she was so low on blood that whole sequence that she couldn't detect that, like, oh, that's my boyfriend's face right there that I'm seeing half of right now. So I'm curious to see what we do, but I feel like it's not going to build into anything. And I just don't really know what the point of this was.
You don't feel like her saying like, oh, he knew my name. I feel like that was the breadcrumbs to once she's fully off the med, she's going to figure out that it's like Matt needs to shave that beard. He cannot be Daredevil with that beard. That beard's so like
that's why I feel like they were trying to play it off that she was so low on blood and so loopy that she like barely remembers the encounter. And yes, she remembers the name part, but he was like in her office and presumably there's like nameplates around, so like maybe she would just think it's that. I don't know.
I think between that and then the start of the episode, she was asking, he's been missing a lot, and then he's also has these injuries. I think she will put it together. I don't know if it's the end of the season, but I think they're leading to her putting it together, and I don't know if that means they stay together or she breaks up with them because he was lying, because I don't know if she's back for season 2 or what the deal is. I didn't think she was going to die here, but I actually thought she was going to get her eyes taken out, because in the comic book run, that's what he does, the blind spot. So especially at one point when he was choking her, I thought, oh, he's going to blind her, but obviously Muse is now dead, so he's not blinding anybody. Everyone's eyes are safe. But I think she will find out based on this, I'm not going to say in this season, but in the next 6 episodes. So that's counting season 2. I'm going to say maybe the beginning of season 2 starts with her like confronting him, because she was already talking about Daredevil last week. Like I feel like we're getting some breadcrumbs. And I think the only reason now they had Muse do this and kill them off here instead of last week, so they could do the whole Fisk hold the mask up, so they can show that like God of Vigilante, because they can't get Punisher. He's got a special neck year. We got season 2 of Daredevil, and then he's not gonna get Spider-Man because Sony's not letting him pop over there. And
just like lifting Spider-Man's mask.
Imagine that. Imagine if like Sony and Marvel broke up the rights, and that's how they did it. Like to announce like, and we've got the wall crawler. And I guess like White Tiger they couldn't do because the task wasn't there. So I guess that's what Muse served. But even then, it's like, he's not a vigilante. Like he's a serial killer. It's not the
Just a
same
masked
thing.
man.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
wouldn't anybody like pick that part and just be like, no, he's just a straight criminal. He's not what Daredevil and like Luke Cage and Iron Fist is. Like he's just a guy that he killed 60 people. Like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is strange when you put it that way, of just like the symbolism of like we got this, the symbol of this
yeah.
guy, but it's like I don't know if he was just a terrorist wearing a balaclava mask, would you just like show that? Like it's a little bit strange, but
And because of said, other vigilante, Daredevil, 2 lives were saved, White Tiger's niece and then now the therapist. So, and I guess the only thing I'm wondering, I don't know if it's going to happen next week, but I thought that's how Fisk and Matt might meet one more time, as I thought Fisk, and it still could happen, might go visit her in the hospital. And if Matt's there at bedside, I think that's a very entertaining thing, because one, you get the confrontation of those two, but then also we said like at some point they're gonna have to, like, Matt's gonna have to find out she's been talking to Fisk, right? Like even as a client. So I think that might be another purpose of why she's alive, is to get that going.
Or maybe maybe there's like some flowers left there by Fisk or something. Not that he would.
No,
like,
he
be able to
could.
read the
He
sign,
showed
but like
interest, right?
he could find
When
out
they-
about it.
Yeah,
When
and
they're
someone could
talking
say,
about
"Oh,
the
look, who sent you these
therapist
flowers?"
downtown.
Fisk. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Did you say, Kirkland? Sorry, I cut you off.
Like he showed somewhat of like vested interest in the fact that it was the therapist downtown, right? Like when who was it? Was it Buck? His good old Englishman
Buck.
giving all this information.
Yeah.
Who's Buck he's starting to turn it up this in the back half of the season. He's starting to go full Wesley
Yeah,
on us, pulling out the
100%, yeah.
guns. But I just doubling. Circling back to Heather, I do think that she is going to confront Matt about the Daredevil this season. I think it just too big of a breadcrumb, I think, to leave for next season, to just not even have it really touched upon here. I also just it's a Superman effect, where people, you can just stare right at someone and be like, this is not the person that I stare at all day, every day. But multiple times now in the show, I'm just like, man, like with the White Tiger's niece, I'm just like, man, this is so strange. Like he doesn't change his voice or anything, and like she just talked to him like that day. Like I get it. She's in a traumatic
This was in like a
situation.
well lit room. Normally it's like in an alleyway at least, so you can pass it off as that. But
And then again here with Heather, who's like, yeah, these guys are lovers. They're boning in the shower earlier in that day, and then
Sure
here they
are.
are, and holding her face again. I guess she's losing blood. She's getting loopy, but still, it just seems a little bit too much for me to swallow. So I do hope, and she's supposed to be like an educated woman and like very like just active brain and thoughts. She should be able to catch up on these things.
yeah, the fact that she can't detect his face from seeing that much of it, but he can detect her face from fucking paint on a piece of paper. That I hate that so much. That
I
is
hated
the
that so much.
dumbest
He touched
thing
your
ever.
face.
There's
He touched
way
your
too many just super convenient things in this show, and it just bothers me. And I just can't buy into him being like a cool, smart investigator when it's just like that is how poorly it's written. I was so pissed off when that.
He's like, whoa, same face. He says, like looking at these two images, one has like
my
a little bit of
God.
texture on it, so maybe I'll give him a pass there. But then when he like clues in, and then it does the flash to him just touching her face. Yeah, I laughed out loud in that
Ridiculous.
sequence.
I can see how I can't defend it. It didn't really bug me because it's like, okay, he's like got super senses, but like I can see how it bugs you. But luckily they killed him and caught him, because if not, his fingerprints are over that layer. So like they're gonna announce that Matt Murdock's the fucking Muse killer. But luckily
Well,
they
doesn't he
caught
have
him.
gloves on?
He took them off. He took them
Oh,
off.
did he?
If you watch that
Right, okay.
scene,
That makes sense,
'cause-
yeah.
Yeah, and then Emily's like, well, he has to feel because the art. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. But it's just like, yeah, his fingerprints are just all over that thing. So yeah, also I don't think Kingpin's gonna frame him. I don't think we're going that way. Even though there is like multiple arcs, one in particular I really like where Matt Murdock does end up in prison, and we were talking about it in the Discord a couple weeks ago. I would love them to do that, especially with Bullseye in prison. Like I would love the Matt Murdock goes, like everyone knows he's Daredevil, he goes to prison, and if that would have been another great reason to have Muse alive, because that's what happened when he goes to prison. There's multiple villains in that prison that know that he, obviously it's out there. So I just think that idea of you going to prison, you're locked in with like 4 to 5 of your like greatest foes. It's like, and you could get killed at any time. Like I feel like that's like a nice like low budget Disney Plus thing. Like they love not putting this guy in the suit. Like that's a whole fucking season of him not in the suit. Like it's just Charlie Cox in prison, So I guess we'll see. But Dylan, we were talking about with Fisk. Do you think that was a setup by them both to kill the mob boss? Do you think that was Vanessa making her first real move against Fisk? Do you think it was a real move and Fisk is still going to forgive her? We're kind of talking about the possibilities of that, because I see a lot of people taking it as like, oh, that's the first shot, but like it was so easily dealt with. I could also just see that Fisk and her decided, because like Fisk the past couple weeks has been starting to get dirty and telling her he's getting dirty, so it's not like a surprise. So where were you on that? The guy, I can't remember his name, but he's sadly no longer with us. So
My read on it was that she knew what was going to happen and was setting him up to be murdered because he was getting a little too nosy. So I think that the first time that we've seen her this season really getting dirty or seeing like maybe the more sinister side of her, or maybe I don't know why exactly she feels like now's the time to jump into that kind of thing. But yeah, that was definitely the vibe I got. I think just especially like the scene like under the bridge when they're talking, I feel like she really did not like the way he was talking to her, addressing her, or undermining her potentially.
I see your face. I know what your thoughts are. It's like I feel like Vanessa doesn't like that concept, So
yeah, and just doesn't like to be like questioned or have like Fisk being questioned at this point. So yeah, I definitely saw it as a setup. And like her devious face, that's a thumbnail too of the episode, is like her looking down at her phone with like a really, really serious face. So I think it was a setup for sure.
Is that the thumbnail?
I think so.
Oh, I think my thumbnail's the one I used for this this episode where Matt's like touching the paintings. I wonder if we got different ones.
Maybe we did.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything more. Yeah, we got there. I guess we touch upon it. What the hell's the guy's name? The assistant? Is it Dylan? Not Dylan. Is it?
That's me.
It's something like that, though. No, Alan.
Travis?
No, fuck. Who's the guy who was messing with BB this episode of like, he's the fucking man? Yeah. Anyway, so we got that where, okay, so everyone, in our circles knows that Daredevil is back.
Daniel.
Like the bad guys. What is his name?
Daniel.
Okay,
It's always a Daniel.
Yeah, Alan and Dylan, see, that's right. I got it. But Daniel, he pretty much just telling BB like, okay, yeah, everyone's gonna kind of know in the law, like whatever the vigilante force, Fist people, whatever, that Daredevil saved her and got this vigilante, but we really want to win here, so we're gonna say it was the task force that did that. She was kind of pushing back, and she's like, "You threatening me?" Like, no, I'm just saying you could choose to make, which I thought was like very weak dialogue of like, you could make your life really awesome or really sucky. I'm just like. That's all we got. Like, come on now. Like, no one looked at us like, let's do another pass. Like, that's all. And I get the Daniel character is supposed to be kind of like slimy, but like he's still in a position where I feel like he has to be somewhat of a smart guy. So I don't know. I didn't love that, but I'm imagining that she's gonna go the Ben Urich route, not report that it was the task force, right? Like we didn't get that answer, but I feel like she's gonna say it was Dee Dee, and she becomes now a threat. So
well, we even got that like cell phone recording of someone on the street being like, "I saw Daredevil popping out of that window."
Yeah. So
that'll definitely be a point of contention in the city. Is definitely some people pushing back on Fisk. Maybe we'll see. I mean,
and what does BB do, Dylan? Does she go with the flow, or does she tell the truth?
Maybe she goes undercover a little bit longer, like not trying to blow it up. Maybe she wants to gather more information before she, I don't know, does like the big sting against him.
Yeah.
So that might not even happen this season potentially. I don't know.
Plus, like, I feel like even if you don't like it, say right now because he's the mayor, you should do that just to ensure. Because her first thought was, "Are you threatening me? Like, you could die. Like looking at how your uncle died. Maybe she should, even if she doesn't believe it, she should report that. Yeah, the task force did this, and I don't know. Wait till Frank Castle comes around, then you're in the clear. But what about you, Kirkland? Is she gonna die on the sword like her uncle's next week? Is it gonna be Daniel choking her out?
It's just getting Daniel to herself.
But what I would love is him to try and do the fist thing, but her just like kick his ass and like choke him out, like Wesley style.
He throws her the axe, tries to go the Adam route, and it doesn't work out.
She throws it back. She still kicks his ass. Yeah.
I'd be disappointed if she does just take the intimidation route and like, okay, I'm not going to do this. Like, I feel like what's the point of even setting this up? She's not staying true to her family name. Like, she should be better than this. And I do believe that will probably be like a big thing going forward after this season. Like, I don't think that'll be a resolution. Just like going into season 2, there's going to be a growing. Like, is Daredevil back? He's the one that's doing stuff, or is it just this task force? And there's just going to be those little splinters forming in just the public opinion. I think that's a good way to just set up season 2. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It was a very weird scene overall. This Daniel guy, he does not.
He's like sitting in the chair.
I didn't love him throughout the whole show, but like him starting to be this like he's attempting to be like an imposing intimidation guy, and it's like, stay in your lane, bro. Like, come on, like this ain't you.
And I think it's been a few episodes since we saw the woman above him. You know, like she was like talking to
Oh,
Fisk
yeah.
a lot, and
She's
I don't
in
know
the cage now.
yeah, she's in Muse's fucking sub. Oh
is
yeah,
an
with
Adam cell.
the Adam cage. Right, I forgot about that. Yeah, just what did you do to get here? And every night Fisk is throwing her the axe. Come on, that's fine. He's like picking the most weak people and just fighting them. He thinks he's like this big
He's
tough
eating his
guy.
steak right in front of them.
Yeah.
His wine.
I did like that scene he had with Buck when at one point Buck's like, well, you know, can't be the worst thing him being out there. He could do some good, catch Muse, and D'Onofrio just made some sound like, oh, I don't think so. Like he just made this like weird laugh, like only a laugh D'Onofrio can do. Where I'm like, I love this man so much, but I liked that scene. I even like I said, I did not like the cop and her dialogue again, but you know, I like his scene of like trying to pry, but like because he already knows Daredevil's back, but he does that fist thing where he's like looking, but he's pretending he doesn't. He just does it with his eyes. He's like, oh, I'll take care of it now. So I like that we're getting that, and I liked his reaction too of finding out that Matt was back, because it wasn't like complete anger. Like it was mixed, because like they point out like, hey, he saved these people and he's dealing with Muse, and I think even Fisk does know that, okay, Muse is a much worse threat than Matt is right now, right? But I feel like we got a good recap, or if for some reason he didn't watch the original show, of like he built, you know, Taylor and Kirkland didn't like this in the original show. Again, he said he spent 10 years, Kirkland, 10 years building that operation. That's how he did everything. He was in Tokyo building a 10-year operation, but I like that he's just, yeah, he brought it down. He turned my life over. He got me arrested. So I thought I liked all the Vincent acting this episode, and I'm excited to see. I do hope they come face to face before the season ends. I feel like it has to happen. I'll be a little disappointed if we don't get that. So yeah, but I liked it all.
I mean,
hope it
like what?
happens with Heather in the room too. Just add more tension.
Mm-hmm. I like. What are we gonna do for the next 2 episodes here? Now that Muse is out of the picture.
Yeah, I guess I imagine it's dealing with this task force, but like I think we've heard that the task force is gonna continue on. So I know Frank's there, so I don't know what the next inciting incident is. I don't know if it's literally just next week we start with, hey, we're after Daredevil, and that's what it is. It's the hunt for... Because, like, he does know it's Matt. I've always said this since the beginning of the episode. Like, it should be pretty easy for Fisk to deal with him this time. Like, he's the mayor and he knows who Daredevil is. Just have that task force waiting at his house, ready to go, guns a-blazing. I don't know. Like, I don't think we would be, but is there ever a situation where, like, Matt gets kidnapped and Frank sees that in the news and that's what gets him in there? Like, episode 8 is Daredevil versus the task force, and then episode 9 is the Punisher Daredevil thing. I don't know. That's a good point.
I feel like he's definitely going to declare war on like any masked vigilante. I mean, he already kind of has a little bit, but I feel like he's going to double down on that next episode. So try and get the people to be against Daredevil as well, and then I'm sure that'll cause a little mini civil war with the random BB clips of people like, oh, I like Daredevil though. I think he's a good guy. I don't think we should go after him.
He never did this before, you know.
Yeah, it might be like a big thing too of like these last 2 episodes, just putting a lot more pressure on Fisk and like the persona that he's trying to come across of like he's the mayor doing good for the city. I think maybe there'll just be more cracks forming on like people just seeing him maybe more as a sketchy guy or as a crook, because we already kind of saw a little bit of that when they were at that fundraiser thing. With him and
everyone
Vanessa.
hated him.
Yeah, yeah, everybody fucking hated him. So
You a bitch, you'll be gone in
You're
2
our
years.
pawn. Do our bidding.
That's
we're
why you had
the
to,
ones who choose who eats. You know,
yeah,
like,
and that's
just
why I had to go beat
You'll
up
be
Adam.
gone in 2 years.
Yeah,
he went to see Adam.
that's why I
clear
beat
my
up
schedule.
Adam, you know?
Under
And
his
even then,
tie.
and same thing too. It's like I'm wondering, because we talked about the Adam thread, and he's still alive. I'm wondering the next 2 episodes of like, because I feel like me and Dylan on the same page. Kirkland, you might feel like you didn't say officially. Where are you on the? Is Vanessa and Fist like they gonna make it out this season together? Or are they gonna be breaking apart? Like, I'm wondering if she's gonna find what he did to Adam, and she's like gonna enjoy that, you know, because it's like, oh, the old Fisk is back in a way, right? Like he stuck up, like she almost, like she said she didn't want him to touch him, but it was almost like a kid. If you say don't, they're gonna, you know.
But then she'll go up to the cage. He'll stick his hands through, touch her face, and then she'll just melt immediately. Oh, those hands!
And that's when he comes with the ass. And, you know, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more on the side that like they're more. I want to say like more Vanessa is against like just the whole Fist thing, just because I really feel like she strongly needs to have her finger on the pulse of like running the business, and if she's not okay with just being like the one beside Kingpin, like she does want to be the one running the show, and I think that'll be a consistent thing to the end of that character or that characters or whatever it might be, or just the relationship itself. I think that'll really be the main thing that prevents her from like just siding with Fisk. But I could also see it happening. I'm just a lower chance of it being, I don't know, it's like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith thing where they're like just beating the shit out of each other and then they just start making out and then that's when they, you know,
Adam has to
they come
watch.
close. Yeah.
My Vanessa, his hands are like mine. I wonder if it is a situation though where they just come to the agreement that she is gonna be the Kingpin in a sense, but he'll still be mayor, right? Where he's gonna go like, I can't do all these things, but I trust you
he's
now.
okay with that. I feel like deep down he is the Kingpin and he is the one that's just needs to be running the show. But maybe I'm wrong with that. But that's just the vibe I'm getting so far. I do believe that she would have had some positive business dealings if that hit went through. With Kingpin.
I'm gonna say that because we got the finale, and I imagine that's where Frank might be. I bet next week we get a resolution one way or another on Fisk or Vanessa. Either they are together or they're, you know, separated. Even if she, I'm not saying like Fisk is gonna kill her, but even if it's like a separation and, you know, okay, because that could be fun too, where he's the mayor trying to do criminal things and she's being a kingpin on the side, and it's kind of like maybe Fisk can't bring himself to kill her. You know, she clearly would kill him if that hit was the other way around. But like I said, I think they'll resolve it next week, and I think they're gonna figure it out somehow. Don't know why.
Yeah.
Don't know how, but
I also feel like now, like a lot of their more intense conversations this season have happened through the context of being in the therapy session with Heather there, and so obviously Fisk mostly is like very muted. He's not sharing much. He's not being very emotional. Whereas Vanessa is like the one who's kind of dumping more on, like actually, you know, doing what they should be doing in those sessions. But now that they probably won't, you know, I don't think they're going to make a session happen. She'll probably be in the hospital or out of commission for the last two episodes here. I could see those conversations that they have between each other just be a lot more heated now that they don't have that mediator in the room. So maybe that is what like kind of leads to a full-on break between them.
they're so desperate they go to the hospital and like make her do a session while she's in the bed, and it's like, oh, we're out of time. Like, no,
and like
you're not out of
Matt's in the
time.
corner, like hiding behind like the curtain or something.
Or he's like in the bathroom and you can hear it all going on because it's like
Oh,
super
yeah.
hearing. Yeah, he's like, oh my god, Fisk is there, but like we really need a session right now.
I love that. Just goes to a quick cut of him in the bathroom, just taking a shit or something in the stall, and be like, "What is that? They're here. They're talking to
Yeah.
Heather."
Emily asked us, and I just was having fun with it because, you know, so Matt, he gets back there, very good timing. He's showering his blood off him, and then she walks him right after. So it could have been an awkward situation. She sees this bruise on his back. He just decides that the best response is just to get on with her. And then after they're talking about that, she's giving the whole therapy session. But I would say, like, I made the joke, like, oh, well, he's blind, he falls a lot. But like on his back is literal, like, war, like superhero scars. Like these aren't just like, oh, he's fallen down. Like there are massive scars. So you'd have to think like now they're I don't think they're living together, but I think they are. I don't know.
Extended
She has a
stays,
key
I
to the
would say.
apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No doubt.
definitely. Like, and that's one thing I would say about the show. Like their relationship, I feel like moved very fast. Like it went from, oh, they kind of got set up to like, I don't think that much time has passed to they are, you know, roommates, everything, and like now she's the damsel in distress, like all this stuff. But yeah, I guess no questions about the I guess other ladies, like I'm trying to think, I guess other ladies don't have these questions, I guess, either. They just assume that they're just scars and whatnot. Like him and Karen actually never, as far as we knew, got together in the series. And Elektra, obviously, she'd know these scars and stuff. And She-Hulk, she wouldn't ask any questions, right? She'd understand, okay, like, he's getting these scars. But you think she might have, especially now, she's like, where do you go? Like, I just come home and you're missing. He's like, oh, well, I'm doing my lawyer stuff. She's like, your briefcase is here. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm just embarrassed. Stop asking me about it. Like,
Well, that's the
He's,
thing.
like,
Like
gaslighting her.
since she actually saw the fight, she might be like, "Oh, I remember when Muse kicked him in the hip right here."
yeah,
Like,
or
now there's
he
that
did
bruise
slice
there.
his thigh at one point, too.
That'll
And I
probably
thought,
be the
oh,
giveaway.
yeah.
Yeah. Even though
Next time
once
the
again
shower,
she seems
Spider-Man
super
thing.
loopy, but like I'm sure she'll remember that. It'll come back to her.
Through
Yeah.
the Spider-Man, you know, when he's bleeding. Bike messenger.
As they're having sex, how'd you get that scar? Bike messenger knocked me down. I have to go. Father, you just got here. I did like that moment when he was in Muse's camp, where that shitty cop comes
Oh
in
man, yeah.
and just knocks
bullseyed
him out.
him.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh fuck!" like he didn't mean to hit him that hard, but I enjoyed that little segment there.
It's funny too how that cop he got knocked out, woke up, and then he calls Fisk.
Yeah, took like a
And,
chance.
doesn't really mention that he just got fucking knocked out by Daredevil or anything. It was just a strange sequence.
And again, even this episode when Fisk he's like, "Oh, should I put an APB out?" He's like, "No. Like you gotta, the task force will take care of it." And he's like, he looks always so not sold in the task force, this cop. But then when they go in the scene of the action, he's like going there. But I remember in the speech a couple weeks ago, he's always just like a little confused. Like I don't understand where this character's going. I'm not sure. Maybe well, actually, I know he's gonna be going to the fucking grave when Frank finds him next week. I think he's a cop that fucking if Frank sees it's over for him. I can't. Does he has a? I think he's a Punisher tattoo on his forearm. I think right. I think he's one of those cops.
On
yeah.
the wrist, I think.
Yeah. So I think any cop that has that, Frank is.
They all got it
mutilate.
somewhere, whether it's a tramp
yeah.
stamp or
yeah.
somewhere.
Massive
Yeah.
back tattoo, like this is Wrath, like just like Punisher
Yeah.
skull. But and then we got more again, which I'm fine with. Just one scene of Matt's little sidekicks there. They're doing the same thing as the Karen and Paige or the Foggy and Karen thing from season 2, where he's like, "You can't do this, blah blah." And then when he leaves the room, she's like, "Well, there's something going on," and you guys talk, and he leaves me. The same thing Karen would be like, "Oh, what's up?" So they're just running that back. But again, I guess I'm okay because they're in it so little. I just could kind of just again cut this all out. Just as last week, Daredevil found Muse pretty easily, and I feel like again Daredevil did all the work himself. He went to talk to White Tiger's niece, and then he went to his lair. You don't need this cop helping him out. Like so again,
Yeah, we're not getting any more lawyer stuff the rest of this season
No.
at least. So what
Yeah.
are we doing?
So I'm very curious in season 2 how much they're going to be actually in the show, because it just feels like already they're transitioning to like Matt. Well, he's not doing his job, and then he doesn't need this guy for the Daredevil stuff. So like, what are they doing around? Because I'm not sure. It's this lady, I can't remember her name, but it's like new partner. She gonna like fire him or want to part ways? Because she says recently he's been missing a lot, and that happened before with Foggy, right? So, and if she doesn't know the secret, she's just gonna think he's slacking or has got a alcohol problem, so you can't work with that guy for too long.
We got a lot of bruises, Matt. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm embarrassed. Don't talk to me about it.
His name's on the law firm too, right? It's
Yeah, but so was
McDuffie and Murdoch.
Nelson Murdoch, and that split up too, right? So
I know, but I don't feel like she can just fire him. Like they're like
no,
the people running the firm. But
she could ask for a separation, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, no, the
for him to
sequence
step
definitely
down.
felt like
We haven't had to cross that road yet as a partnership. Luckily, we haven't asked to ask. How do we get rid of a person? Yeah, Taylor. If he
Wonder
misses
why
one more
Taylor's not
episode,
here?
it's
Yeah,
over.
if you're wondering where Taylor is tonight, we asked him to step down, and he's considering it.
That's his special assignment. He's talking with a lawyer stat right now. It's like, what can I do? Well, 75 versus 25.
Yeah, no, what was I talking about right now?
The friends,
the
Matt's
lawyer,
friends.
the lawyer friend. Yeah, definitely felt like we had tread that path already with like the Karens of the world, the Foggies of the world from the previous Daredevil show. I don't know, like I like this character, but I feel like I mostly just like her for the amount that she's used, and just leave it there.
Yeah. Is there anything else we're missing? We talked about that actual. Did you guys like the actual just build up of the Muse scene? I liked that of him talking to her. Again, I kind of wish we got more sessions throughout the show, because it was weird that in the pilot we were like, oh, like I really need your help. And then we're like, did he ever get therapy sessions? Did he not? And then in this, it just shows that, okay, he's been there the whole time. So I like the setup. I thought the guy was being creepy enough, and I thought she actually did a good job in that scene as well of trying to still talk to him, but realizing she's having a "it's over for you" moment of he's getting slow. And then once you wake up and he's fully in the costume, it's like, oh yeah, you're kind
Yeah.
of fucked here. It's done. And the police did say he was planning a murder suicide. I didn't get that. I didn't get that vibe. I just got the vibe he has a gun, but
That's what they're trained to do, right? Because they're just bad cops. They just go in there, shoot whoever. It's like it was a murder suicide.
yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, we did.
They were gonna
Someone
die
in the front of the
anyway.
head. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about, like, we forgot to mention, she's the one that actually killed him. They were fighting. There's that brutal moment where Matt shot the baton through his shoulder. For a
That was
second,
the
I thought it
Mortal
was like,
Kombat sequence
yeah,
I was telling you
get
about. It
over
was
here.
the get over here.
yeah. For a second, I thought it was like through his heart. I was like, oh my God, Matt is off the deep end. He's just like murdering people with the batons. But no, he did that. Muse got some sort of knife, and then she killed him and everything. So again, funny that Matt's like, oh yeah, you had to do it, but again, he won't kill people, but all these people around him, Karen, her, Frank, like he's just with a bunch of murderers. His Stick would always be killing people. Jessica Jones don't care. So it's just Matt trying his best here. But yeah, she killed him. So I'm wondering if that's going to have some repercussions for her too going forward. So
I don't think so. I think it'll probably be just the amount that it was in this episode when she just kind of has that realization. I like how it played out, like the actual fight sequence. It was funny too when Matt like kept dragging him around and he was on like that tarp that he laid out and he was just like blood smearing all over. In my mind, I'm like, there's gonna be some like weird art project or something. They're gonna like lift the body. And it's gonna be like just an art design or something. But they weren't going all out on that, on the musisms of it. But
Draws like a map to like Punisher's hideout or something
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, like something like that. Or it's Heather's face all textured again. You know, he's feeling it afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, they walk in the room. Matt's just feeling up this thing.
Yeah, I gotta find him. Yeah, Dylan, did you like even the Muse human stuff, Bastion, or was that still kind of meh for you?
No, it felt quite rushed and felt like very predictable, like incel sort of storyline sort of thing. And I think I agree with what you said there of like maybe we should add a couple scenes building up to this. And I think it's one of those things where like maybe the surprise wouldn't have been there. Like you've already been kind of predicting this whole like or talking about this whole time. Like we know that's Muse, we're getting ready for that kind of thing. So I don't know, maybe a couple more scenes would have done it, but I guess it was weird to only have, I guess in hindsight, like 2 scenes of him as Bastion, which feels weird to say Bastion now because I'm just thinking of like the X-Men villain when I say
Same
that.
guy.
But
No, he's gonna come back. As...
very underpowered compared to his X-Men variant there, but yeah, it didn't really work for me. I think just as well, everything kind of felt predictable with this sequence in this episode in general. I think that's why I wasn't as excited by it. So we'll see what happens in these next 2, but just I don't know, kind of by the numbers.
I wasn't sure too if you heard because you're having your issues there. The next 2 are the full episodes that were in the overhaul, so they have none of the old guard episodes. Of like some of these episodes are like a mix of new shots and old shots. 8 and 9 are completely from start to finish new because like that because I don't know which episode he's in, but like obviously what's his name? John Berthnall said like he declined to be in the first version of the show, so that's how he's in one of those episodes. So that's what I.
Do you think he's coming back? We're gonna get one more episode of him, or is he gonna need both?
I don't.
Or is he I don't know. Story wise, I don't really see what he would do at all. Like I feel like we haven't really been set up for him to go out.
He's killing some cops. I think it's over for some of those cops. I think he's gonna be boots to the ground. He's gonna think about it, and I just don't know either. To me, it's 8, and then it's just Matt's finale, or the end of 8 is a setup, and then Frank is there at the end of that, because that can be an exciting, finale.
Do you think Frank's gonna like know that, like when they're holding up the mask of Muse, that they like didn't actually find it? Because I feel like if Punisher saw it, like, oh, they took a savage murderer off the streets, maybe they're not so bad, even if the Hector Ayala thing was pretty sus.
I think if it's just them holding it up, maybe, but I think with Fisk there, that's when he's gonna be like, "Oh, something's up."
And his like,
I don't fucking
his like half smirk smile thing that looks so inauthentic.
Yeah, like that. That's what I think is the tip off for Frank. Is the second he sees Fisk, he's like, "Bullshit! I didn't like that. Didn't happen. Red was a part of it, or yet to." So again, I'm kind of liking the theory that they capture him, and then that's how you get Punisher. But do you want to make it the Punisher show for last episode? I don't know, but. Hey, Disney Plus has done it before, so. Anything else from this episode or anything to talk about for next week?
All my blood has been transfused.
Yeah. R.I.P. Muse. We'll see you, I don't know, Marvel Snap maybe? He's got a card yet?
I don't think he is in Marvel Snap, actually. One of the few who's not in there.
Surprised they didn't do like a Daredevil season or something for this show, like for Marvel
I think
Snap.
they did like because when Bullseye was added recently, I think it was like a Daredevil. Yeah. Okay. I've been out of the game for a few months, so I don't know.
Okay.
But,
well, maybe you'll see him there, and if not, I'm with Kirkland. I wish there was a way that they could have held the mask and still just say they caught him. I know. Even then, if she would have shot him, I would have liked if he survived. But he's down. But at least Kirkland's favorite Bullseye's still in prison, and we know we'll be seeing him again at some point because he is. Yeah, there's
next
still
episode. It's coming. I
think so. It could be because there's still one scene from the trailer of him in the prison, and we haven't seen that yet.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if that's also just like a tease for season 2, where it's literally just someone breaking him out, being like, "You could be on the task force." Like I don't think Fisk should do that, but you never know. So.
You should.
I don't think so, but because he tried to kill Fisk.
You have a spot for my girlfriend. It's like the frozen chick. That
yeah,
the
still
dead
frozen.
lady. Yeah.
Anyways, well, we'll be back next week. Maybe Mr. Field will be back. Who knows? We'll talk to our lawyers, but we'll be back next week for episode 4 or episode 8, the penultimate episode, and it'll not be boring.